Hello and welcome. My name is Okada. Today we're going to look at the demo for a new upcoming game called Heat Death Survival Train. Now, I've done a quick playthrough of the demo and already kind of putting it in the category of games with great potential that we'll have to wait and see if they live up to it. But since the demo is so relatively short, we can cover the entire thing so you can see the features that are available in it right now. Decide if you want to spend some time playing the demo, but also to prepare you for what's not in the demo so that you're not disappointed expecting to see a little bit more of the game. That being said, let's just jump into a new game and we can talk as we go. So here we are on the fairly generic start. Basically, we wake up, we don't know where we're at, and things are cold. All right, let's just move on. We got a lot to cover, and we don't want this to be too long. So tutorial stuff, not worried about it. As you can see, this is our starting area. I'm not going to run all the way back over there. That's just a dead end, and we're just on tracks. In the bottom left corner, you'll see 3 stats. We have our health on the top, we have stamina, and then we have energy. The energy reflects the energy in our survival suit, whatever it is that we're wearing. We're not in third person, so I couldn't tell you what it looks like. And as you can see, we don't have to go very far before we get to our first little outpost. The landscape is kind of menacing, a little foreboding. We got an interesting ring going across the skyline. This is not yet explained. I don't know what that's going to be about. It really hints towards some kind of, greater story, something hopefully we'll see in the future. And I'm running across the tracks because it's actually faster than the snow. Let's go ahead and get on the snow there. See how we got slowed down? Now, as you can see, the stamina bar is going down a little bit. I am not sprinting. If I sprint, it starts to go down a little bit faster. And currently, stamina is the only real problem in this game. You cannot passively restore your stamina. Now I'm just going to click off of those pop-ups because you're going to understand things as we go because we'll talk about them. As you can see here, no power. We can't go inside this building. There's a bunch of solar dishes which are not turned on. And we're going to run up to the control center here. We got a cool little dish up there. We have a station over there, which is where we'll get our train. Looks like that building is already unlocked. We're going to head in here. We do have a flashlight. It's kind enough to tell us. That will start draining our suit. Not a big deal. It's going to be easy enough to replenish that power. We have an open door here. Energy storage. So we need to connect it to the network just by clicking the button. That's turning on the energy storage. This is basically the battery for the facility. That way everything else that's attached to that can turn on. It's not everything, but it's enough to get us to where we need to go. Turn our flashlight off. You can see in the bottom left that was draining our suit. No power. We're going number 2. This is going to turn on the generators, or which is actually the solar panels. Take a second here to watch that. It's a pretty cool animation. And then finally, we're going to just turn on the entire facility. Just a button over here. Power control. State offline. Now that's telling us that this is how we save the game, is by these little body scanners. We can just hop in here. As you can see, I spent about 4 hours on the original run through, which is much longer than necessary. But I also took the time to explore and do other fun stuff. But again, for this demo, we're going to try to be kind of short on stuff so that it doesn't take too long. And I also don't want to show everything that could be found. In case you want to play this, give you some opportunity to do some exploration yourself. Whenever you see these are fragments for blueprints. You want to grab them whenever you see them. You'll see in the bottom left it says Engine Tier 1, 1 of 3. These are exposition. And in this case, This is going to give us the key code for the storage downstairs. I'm not going to take time to read all these things that come up. Just in the interest of time, you can always pause the game and read them if you like. Because again, I want to keep this review, as short as possible. You want to go to all the rooms, open up all the containers, and just grab everything. So I can take it, or I can press T to take all. Most of the time, I'm going to just take all. Also, looking at our inventory, we have storage of 30. Kind of want to keep an eye on that. There's more than 30 objects that we can pick up around here, so we don't want to overfill our inventory. And that code was 5011, I think. 5011. Yeah, not very impressive storage room, is it? Smart material, we'll pick that up, And we'll go over the materials in a bit. Just regular materials. Take all. Yeah, let's get out of here. We can go out the back. I don't think there's anything out back that we need, but... Nope. I'll just close the door so that, gets cold out there. There's nothing on here. No. Alright, so all the doors now should be unlocked. Saw a little drone moving over there. We'll encounter that in a bit. I'm going to actually run up here real quick. Currently, there are no animations for ladders. These are the only ladders I know of in the game currently. I'm going to go all the way up. There we go. Just more materials. I don't think there's anything up here, but we'll pop up here to get a nice look at this landscape. Very barren. You see there's some buildings all the way over there. Is there anything I've missed before in my original playthrough? I don't think so. You can certainly go and explore, and in fact I encourage you to do so. But keep in mind that as you run, you lose stamina. And stamina is not infinite because it doesn't regenerate on its own. Now we can restore some stamina, which we'll see that in a bit. But it's a limited resource, so it's something we want to be mindful of. Now these plants here are what are necessary for making the stuff that's going to restore our stamina. In fact, I think we'll get a pop-up here. Yes, there it is. This is how we craft our drinks. As you can see, it takes 4 of the plants and 1 material to make a soft drink, an energy drink, that restores 30% of your stamina. Currently, that's the main way we're going to restore it. There are a couple of, I think, like hamburgers or something that we can find around the map. Cups of soup or something like that, cans of soup, I think, that give us a little bit more, but we can't craft any of it right now. So I'm just going to run through here and open up everything. Turn lights on and off. No reason to. But give me a minute. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to empty all the stuff. Icicle ammo, this is for a weapon that we will not actually be using. And some reading to be done. Alright, and that's it for building number 1. Let's run over here and grab these plants. I didn't see them. Our inventory is getting towards full, so I'm going to not worry about the other buildings yet, and we're going to run over here to the station, find our train, and see what we can do to start getting it up and running. Alright, the train station, and we picked up another blueprint in that building, so this will give us the unlock for our engine. And here's the reason why we wanted to make sure we kept our inventory manageable. Keep getting interrupted by pop-ups. Now let's see, what our inventory is at 24 of 30. So that was 4 space. So if we were maxed out, then we'd have a little bit of a problem. dynamo, 1 of 3. Some tech scrap, and that's it for our inventory. Alright, but we can make the engine now. That's all that matters. So I'm going to come up here. We're going to go to our build menu. Locomotive. We have the engine component we need and a couple of smart materials. This energy reading here, this is what's going to cost of our suit energy. And we can rotate things. Let's do something like this. Let's move it over a little bit. There we go. So we need a control panel, and we'll need to make some screens for it. Again, we're going to kind of skip past all those pop-ups because you're going to see what we're doing anyway. And you can see it fits on the train. We couldn't have built it off the train. Now let's see here. Fabricators. We need 2 screens. So if we click on it, it's just going to start fabricating. I'm going to step over here and do another one. I guess I won't because I'm out of smart material. However, I can turn 2 regular materials into 1 smart material. And this energy rating here for these machines, this is drawing from the base, not from your suit. As far as materials go, like the regular ones, don't be too concerned about them because, at least currently in a demo, those are relatively infinite. The only thing that keeps them from being infinite is that we don't have infinite stamina. But there's a renewable source of the regular material, which means there's an infinite source of smart material because we can craft those. And I'm going to start a couple of these. I really don't know how many we need. We will use lots of them over time. Let's see, locomotive, engine screen. This is how we control the train. The arrow facing us. Let's go something like this. And we can always move this later. And the power control panel. We are missing a smart material. I should have picked up another one before we walked away. So this is what's going to allow us to control the train. If we turn the engine on, you'll see the platform will rise up. So now the train's active. And the power screen here will show us the rate. So it's right now it's at -10 energy per minute because it's turned on. And how much we have stored up, which is 497 out of 500. We could go forward or backwards or brake. I'm going to turn it back off for now because we're nowhere near ready to leave. And you'll see it's regenerating 50 per minute just sitting, idle. As long as you turn off the engine. So let's start building some walls because we want to use up the material that's in our inventory before we go running around picking up everything out of all the buildings. Corner windows in. Now you do want to have a completed room, at least on the front train or anywhere on here, wherever you're going to be standing, because weather is a thing in this game, and you don't want to be caught out in the weather. In fact, if we look over here, this is actually a weather radar. So you see the little dot up there, that's where we're at. Those are clouds. So it's actually tracking the storms throughout the game, which is a really neat feature. So you don't want to be caught out in the cold because it will start to drain your stamina quickly and actually do some damage to you. And you can, if you're indoors, you're protected more or less from the cold. I think you take a little bit of stamina loss if you're in an unheated room like the train, and you take none if you are inside of like an actual building. But we're going to go and start picking up stuff, and real quick, if we look at our inventory, I believe we picked up a battery some point. Yeah, small battery right here. This is how we recharge our suit. So you see in the bottom left, the power is really low. So if we use the battery, that gives us back about 50%. And these battery chargers, you can see it takes 60 seconds to charge. So I just click on it. If I have an empty battery in my inventory, it puts it in it automatically, and you can see that it's charging. So we're just going to let that go. Check our inventory again. Alright. I'm going to start running around, picking up stuff, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to head out. Okay, so I've cleared out all of the buildings in the immediate area. We still have a building over there, which we'll get in a second. That's taken care of. I want to start moving forward here. Open the gate. And sure, the train's a little bare bones at the moment. It's all right. You'll see why we want to start moving just a little bit here. I've dropped down a couple of containers. I just wanted to sort things out a little bit, you know, make our inventory a little more manageable. Like all these small things like the Shadow Breeze and the Icicle Ammo, they're only 0.5 a piece. I decided to go ahead and throw those out there. And then I've got myself a separate container for a little bit more important stuff like batteries and tech scrap and whatnot. But we're not going to go far. We're just going to pull out of the building a little bit because this is going to be our mobile storage. Just going to pop up and move out. Now, I mentioned that material is sort of, kind of infinite. Again, the only reason it's not infinite is because we don't have infinite stamina. And here's going to talk about the scrapper. We'll talk about that in a second. I've shut down the movement, and we're going to coast a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit the brakes, and I'm going to turn it off. And the reason that the material is sort of infinite is that these scrapper drones, you'll see one right there, they're up there just grabbing infinite scrap and bringing it back and depositing it. So we can grab a ton of this. Look at that right there, is 19 material. And he's going to keep going. Get by before he gets in. Whoop! And we can start using those to fill out the rest of the train. Go here. Part material. Our inventory is full. That's fine. We're getting ready to burn a bunch of it. This is why I wanted to go ahead and pull the train up here. Run out of power here. So what I'm doing here is just, you know, trying to make things look nice. I don't know if there's a reason to do windows versus walls. But I think it's where we're going to put, like, you know, walls behind our machinery. Let's take that out. You know, build it the way you want to. That's all I can say. Build it the way you want to. How are we doing on materials? One material. And that's enough building for the moment. I want to walk away from the area. Let's dump stuff out of our inventory. As much inventory space as we can. Let's store some of these. And we're going to run up there and hit those buildings. And another letter. Feel free to pause and read it. So nothing exciting up here, just so you know, a little bit of narrative. But let's head back to our train and get out of here. Alright, ready to get out of here. We're going to take one last stop off here and grab whatever material has been replaced by the drone. 9 more, thank you. That'll work real well towards finishing off our cabin while we're going. We're going to start moving. Now, you can go faster, and at this current speed, we are looking at 100 drain per minute. While we're moving 47 velocity, 48, something in that area. Doubling that up does not double the speed. It's going to cap out in the low 70s. we almost have a 100% increase in the power rate. So it's not efficient to move faster, but it's an option. But we are going to go at a little bit lower pace. And there's another base right up there. You can see it doesn't go far, so we're going to get to building. Let's see, do we have that? We don't have enough for another door. Not on hand. Let's see here. Let's grab a wall. That way it doesn't look weird. Just, you know, the door just kind of sitting in the open. I think let's do 2 of them. Grab ourselves a smart material. Grab another door, and we'll put it in the rear. And we will get a roof here soon. I just want to show you where we're going. Look, we got some plants we're going to pass by. I'm going to go ahead and brake and turn off the engine so that gives us some time for it to recharge. You can see we weren't getting ready to run out, but if we know we're going to step out of the train for a little bit, it doesn't hurt to shut down the engine. And I'm really looking forward to the prospect of building and working around the train while it's moving. And of course, on your first playthrough, and I imagine that, you know, playing through the full version is going to be the same. You know, if you don't know what's ahead of you, you're probably going to be standing in the train and watching where you're going rather than building. So I think that that's going to be something that's appealing with the subsequent playthroughs. Like, okay, I know this is going to be an open stretch here I can pay attention to. We're working on the train rather than parking it somewhere and, you know, working on it there. Now, you'll see on the left above the health, you'll see a little flashing cloud symbol. That shows that the temperature is dropping, that the storm is rolling in. So we kind of want to get up here so that we can get into something that will shelter us, because we don't have a roof on this yet. So we're going to crank up the speed because we know we're going to be parked here for a little bit. Try to get us into a safe place so we can stop for a little bit. Coast in. Brake right there and shut off the engine. Check our inventory. We got a little bit of space. Now you'll see the frosting in the corners of the window. That means we're taking damage. So let's get out of the cold here. Oh, the wrong way with that. Okay, we got 20 shadow breeze. That's good enough. Let's get inside. You can see our stamina is dropping really fast. Whew. All right, so I'm going to hang out in here for a little bit. And these stations actually have the food crafters on them, which is why I wanted to grab those. I didn't bother doing that at the last area because we would have had to go all the way back to the habitat rooms. But we have all the crafting stuff we need in here. We have more blueprints unlocked. So the body scanner is unlocked. The body scanner, again, is one of these chambers for saving. You know, it's not entirely necessary to have it on the train because you can save when you're at the stations. And you can see here the weather radar is actually showing that we are in a storm. It's pretty neat. So let's drink a drink. Just cover some of our stamina. And I'm gonna just wait out the storm and then we'll start looting stuff and get some upgrades to our train. More exposition if you would like to read this. Alright, I have looted everything in the area except for the drone that's bringing in all the free scrap. And I've processed a number of shadow breezes into foods. going to move forward a little bit here and start working on our train a little bit more. As you can see, the drone is a little bit slower. I don't think we're going to hang around too much and wait on him. One of the things the game suggests that you do is follow the drone because they might reveal secrets. Those are spoilers. I'm not going to follow the drones because if you want to play this, I want you to follow them yourself. So we're just going to start moving on. Continue to work on our train as we move. I'm going to kind of leap ahead in my design because, again, I've played this already. I'm going to put floors up here instead of roof. I think I put the wrong floors, didn't I? Yep, I put the wrong floors. Try that again. Floor, corner. There we go. Now we actually have the curve on it. Make sure we look around every now and then. We're not missing anything. Could close our doors. Oh, we have a storm. Storm, no. Bad timing, storm. Floor. Oh, we are out of energy. Let's use a battery. How are we doing on our progress? You see some plants coming up. We're going to want to stop and get those. I think I'm going to do ceiling over here. Probably out of material. Yes, we are. Oh, we are hurting. We are caught in the storm. We passed up the plants. Yeah, we did. I'll tell you what, let's actually rush real quick like here. Let's do a take all. Let's use another battery. It's gonna run out of power. Oh, we are getting cold. Getting cold quick. Seal this off. We can open it back up later when we're ready to continue with our build design. Okay, so the cold in the corners, in fact, look, we're out of stamina. We need... Oh, we have an inventory energy drink. Okay. You can see how fast our health started to drop. And the chill effect in the corners now is diminished because we are in a sealed room now. And we couldn't speed our way to the next stop because we have that barrier in the way. We're gonna... back up to where the plants are. And then we're gonna just ride out the storm because we don't want to leave the cabin until the storm has passed. So let me collect all this up, and when the storm's over, we will continue with the story. So if we look at the sky, we can see that the storm is actually getting ready to pass us. Which is something really nice. It's a feature that I'm really enjoying about this game, that the whole weather effects they're kind of live. You know, not only do they have the weather radar, but you can actually look and see the weather changing. That is actually really cool and very appreciated. It's a nice detail. And we're just gonna hoof it. We can walk through it, but the train cannot pass through it. And this is kind of a start for, you know, how the game's going to progress from a story standpoint, right? We're going to finally start running into obstacles. As we encounter each place, it adds a little bit more, Now, right now, the buildings are all kind of generically the same. I'm sure that that will be something in later versions that will hopefully not be the case. Oh, it looks like we need to power the station. Got all of these. Engineer. Workstation. Blueprint that will complete the icicle, which is the in-game like turret weapon that you can build. I'm not gonna bother looting everything. First, we need to get power and free up our train. So I believe we need to find a notepad with the combination to that locked room. Outdoor light, 1 of 3. I'm going to close this door so I remember to come back and actually loot the room. There we go. I see a little icon. Envelope. There we are. Key code 6718. Let's grab this weapon chip that we're going to need to make our turrets. And let's just make sure that there isn't anything else we want in this building. Another part of the outdoor light. Tech scrap. Canned soup, nice. And I've already forgotten the code. I think it was 6719. It was not. Fortunately, we can just go back to the dialogues. 6718. I was close. There we go. We can unlock the bridge, but first let's connect the batteries to the network. Let's turn on the generator, which will be that thing over there. Oh, I never get tired of buttons making things move. It's so great. Turn on the power to the rest of the structures and unlock the bridge. Let's run and get our train real quick, and then we'll start looting the area. Now you can turn off the engine while it's drifting and it will continue to drift, but now it's, recharging. And I'm going to drop off some stuff and do some crafting and some looting, and then we'll come back and add to the train. Alright, time to do some upgrades to our train. So I'm going to start off by figuring out what we actually need for the things that we haven't built, which would be that dynamo and the icicle. And we got the fabricators right here, so we can start making things. So let's go to the build menu. We have all of our smart materials on hand. I think we still have some tech parts on the train, but mainly this is what we're going to be manufacturing. So we want to go power. Looks like we're going to need 2 mechanical parts, and for defense, another mechanical. So we need 3 mechanical parts. That's what it takes to make a mechanical part. 2 material and 2 smart materials. So that's going to be pretty heavy. Now, fortunately, I have already raided the 2 outposts over there that are scrappers. There's 2 scrappers at this location. So they're hard at work at replacing the scrap that I borrowed from them, or appropriated. And we'll have more to pick up from them going forward after we're done here. So we need 2 smart material. All those are crafting. Let's see what else we're going to need. We're going to need 2 more smart material for the dynamo. And that's it. We have the weapon chip back on the train, and again, the tech scrap we already have there too. So we just need 2 more of these. Okay. So we're going to build ourselves a big old weapon. Let's grab the mechanical part. Oops. Let's grab the weapon chip. A couple of tech scrap. And again, spoiler alert, there's not actually anything for us to fight, but yeah, it's cool to look at, so let's put it out here. So if we were in a combat situation, we could interact with it and we could shoot stuff. Of course, we only have a couple of bits of ammo in the storage, but again, we don't need it, so I'm not too worried about it. Zoom in, zoom out. And the other cool thing is that whichever direction you leave it is the way it will continue to face, so it can... And I can no longer interact with it. What is going on here? You know what? We're just gonna leave it. The second thing we wanted to make was the dynamo. I think we'll put that right over here. Let's see if we can squeeze it in right here. Yeah. There we go. So we can, it's like a little mini game. You can crank it. Well, we're full power now. I'll show you, but we kind of crank it and we get power, but we get very little power. It's not very useful. But I think that's all we have for this location. Again, I'm not going to follow the drones. If you want to play the demo, I suggest you follow the drones and see where they go. But I don't want to spoil everything for you. Close our doors. Actually, we're going to leave those 2 doors open because I'm going to pull up to the drones real quick like. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up a little bit because I have a battery that is charging and I want to pick it up before we go. Alright, daylight is upon us again. I took the opportunity of waiting out the storm to go charge batteries again. Probably would have helped if I turned off the engine. I don't think it's too bad. Ooh. So, we're going to work on our train here. Let's see. Build. Stairs. Stop off here, grab a little bit more material on our way out. Let's empty our inventory because it's probably going to be quite a lot of it. Now, I imagine that they're going to rebalance this, you know, when the game goes live, but I don't know, you know, who knows? Who knows? Right now, you know, material is super easy to come by, and again, it's only because we can't passively regenerate our stamina that we can't just stand around here and build the entire train all in one shot. But before we pull away, let's burn some of this material. Get ourselves a second floor. Oh, looks like I had those backwards. You know, we were in a panic when we built those because of the storm that was bearing down upon us. But from up here we can see it a little bit better. There's no particular reason why I'm not just doing the whole roof. I kind of like the idea of, you know, being a little cab on top of the roof. You can see we're burning through energy real fast. which is why I took the time to go and recharge those during the storm. Power again. We have plenty of batteries on the train, so that's not going to be an issue. Out of material. We can rectify that. Take all, thank you. This is going to be our viewing deck, so we're just going to do all windows all the way around on it. There we go, we have a completed train. At least for what we're doing. Look at it from the outside. See, it looks pretty cool. We got our new viewing platform. That's great. I love being able to stand up here and just kind of watch the world go by. And this is something that both I really appreciate about the game and have a lot of hope for, but I also have a lot of concern for. Because, the idea really is supposed to be that, you're doing things on the move, maybe working on your train or probably fighting and anything. You're supposed to be doing something, probably not just standing around and staring at the environment, though possibly doing so. But that raises some concerns about how do they make this interesting, right? There's a lot of people who like train simulators, and I'm one of them, that, probably could sit around all day and just watch us roll through endless terrain because it's cool. It's cool to watch things go by. But ultimately, from a game design, you have to have something interesting going on. And if they have really long stretches of nothing, then there's going to be a lot of people who just want to, high speed their way through it and crank up the speed. They're going to have more power, obviously, to do that. And, to keep things interesting. And the problem is, if you put things too close to each other, these points of interest show up too early or too frequently, then kind of what's the point to having a moving base? It's kind of a dilemma, and hopefully they'll do a good job on it. I don't envy them the task to make that work. I like this idea. I like this concept. I want a gigantic mega world that I can ride my train around in. And what I really hope to see, which I honestly don't expect, is branching rails. That, I think, would add a lot to it. Deciding to go to different places, not just following the one monorail. And that would give us a lot of opportunity for exploring different regions, maybe having a branching storyline that does different things, have different outcomes based on directions you go. Who knows? And it depends on, how far do they want to go with that. Let's check our inventory. Make sure we just picked up all of those plants. Do we have room for those here? All right. So another point of interest, and it wasn't too far away. We can still see the power generator, the solar panels all the way back there. So you can see that wasn't too far. Shut off the engines. And I'm going to explore this real quick like. Let's kind of maybe we do this in a little high speed real quick like. Because again, we don't want this playthrough to be too terribly long. Got an outdoor light, battery, and more exposition. Basically, they're saying that they are stranded because obviously this used to be a train, and they are hiding out in a cave, which is right there. Now, tell me that isn't beautiful. Look at that. That is some artistic work. You got the snow blowing in, the one tree that's managed to take root and grow where the light comes in. That's beautiful. That's very, very nicely done. I really appreciate that. Here we have a little bit more exposition. Talking about there's a train on the way to save them. All we care about is their loot. And while we were there, we picked up the final component to an exterior light. Let's see if we have what we need to make that. A material, smart material, and a tech scrap. Yeah, we got that. And we have skipped content. There are things that I have not shown you. I don't know what all we're going to be cutting out to shorten this video, because I'm sure it's going to be quite long. But there are areas that I have not gone to intentionally, because I want to leave those for you to explore and find them yourself. So our power status. So we can see we're not full on power. Take a look here at this is the dynamo. If we spin it, see we got 0 power. But that little line that goes, we need to hit it when it hits on the green. So it's like a mini game that I'm not particularly good at. You see we only get 8 power out of that. I can usually get like 19 out of it. 15. Yeah, 15's about right. So, you know, you could stand there and do that, but I mean, comparing that against the 50 per minute that's just from having things turned off, it's not gonna, you know, really give you anything significant. And soon we will have the ability to make a solar panel. Turn on. And another interesting thing that I noticed on my first playthrough is that being inside the tunnel counts as being indoors. So, you know, if we have a storm and we're in our train, we still get the frosted effect around the corners. But if we're deep in the tunnel, it treats it like we're inside an actual building, which is nice. It's what it should do. So that was a nice detail. Go up here. I'm curious as to where this tunnel is getting power for all these lights. But we have a light of our own. Let's see, find our way down. We can't see anything. We don't have internal lights. So we're drawing 100 per minute. Turn on the exterior light. It's an additional 20 per minute, but now we can actually kind of see. And I'll just speed this up until we get into the tunnel. Hopefully we have enough power to actually get there. Here we are, coming out of the tunnel into a kind of a giant interior cave, which is actually really cool. It's power down here. You can see there's a big old door in our way. Turn off the exterior light, because there's enough lighting here already. It's storming, but I think this is counting as indoors. Yeah, good, excellent. Blueprint. And exposition. This is going to tell us that the gate has been broken, but they have hooked up a battery so that we can open it up. And they're saying, be careful, don't wake up the scout drone. As far as I can tell, there is no scout drone. So let's look over here real quick like. That finished our solar panel blueprint. This is a solar plate that we're going to need to build one. Some loot. A little bit more exposition. Talk about how excited they are to get out of here. And of course we were told to follow the cable to make sure we have energy drink on us. Alright. And this will open the gate. Now, it is pretty spooky walking through here, but I've already been down here and I know that there's nothing to be afraid of. I don't think. I haven't gone to the end of the tunnel. I guess that's right there is the end of the tunnel. Yeah, as you can see, we're not too far. When we turn around, you can see the way out. Some more loot. Broken down fabricator is something that we cannot yet make. And I don't think I've mentioned it, but there are a lot of things that we cannot unlock. Because they are in the full version only. There's another weapon chip, so we could make another gun. Another piece of interior lighting. And turn on the battery. Looks like this train had 2 guns on it. Let's see if we can't, like, dismantle them. Now, open the gate. And unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the demo. Now, we could build a solar panel, but we're not in a place where we'd actually get any light for it. So I'll leave that to you if you want to do that in a playthrough of your own. And again, the demo is available currently on Steam. It is free, as demos typically are. Oh, there it is. The barrier just popped right up in front of us. So you can see here, like, it talks about the secret cave. Yeah, I didn't want to show you any of that stuff. So, you know, you have something to explore for if that's something that you're interested in. So that is Heat Death Survival Train. My final thoughts on it, I think, again, that this is a game that has a lot of potential. I am a little concerned about how generic some of the stuff is. Not necessarily saying that they're not going to turn it into a good game, more of a concern that it's probably even earlier in development than is obvious. They haven't really talked about it. It says on the Steam page 2024, but that might be when early access comes out, because right now early access isn't available. So I think that this game probably has pretty far to go. There are some issues to the lighting engine that I haven't talked about. You might have noticed some things fading in and fading out weird. Again, the buildings are all cookie cutter, and the landscapes are pretty generic. Now, again, they might always be generic because it's the nature of building this kind of a game where you're going to have lots of terrain to pass through that isn't meant to always have something to do because, you know, they want to extend the travel time. So we'll have to see how they tackle that. I would like to see some kind of passive regen for stamina. If they did that, though, they would need to balance it with the seemingly infinite income of material from the scrapper drones. Probably they should have those be limited. And I would happily have them limited if it meant having a passive way of regenerating stamina, even if it's just, you know, laying on a bed that we build on our train, or even just have it be a very slow, you know, trickle feed. The building options seem to be fine. There's clearly going to be more for us to do, and it doesn't feel limited. And there's clearly a storyline that's going to unravel that I think is going to be interesting to follow. So overall, I'm pretty excited about the prospects of this game coming about, and I'm going to keep an eye on it in the future to see how well the development is going, hopefully at a good pace, and see what kind of decisions they decide to make on it. But if you enjoyed what you saw, you might want to consider trying out the demo yourself. And if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like so that YouTube is more likely to suggest this to people so that they can also see it as well. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. If you enjoyed this, you may want to check out one of these other videos, and thank you very much for your time.